A very good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, and what a week it has been. From discussions on health care to allegations of high crimes and misdemeanors. Both of them coming to a head here in News 5 this week in a conversation I had with Vice President Mike Pence. His deflection on my question on the president's tweet allegation that former President Obama wiretapped Trump Tower, making national news. But first we talked about the Obamacare replacement and the concerns raised this week by Governor John Kosich and Senator Rob Portman for the 700,000 people in Ohio who are now covered through the Medicaid expansion of the ACA, an expansion that gets phased out in 2020. The Vice President telling me, we got you.
When it comes to Medicaid, we know that we can give states just like Ohio even more flexibility to make sure that those programs that exist to serve our most vulnerable can be tailored to the unique needs and challenges of the people of your state. And as a former governor from your neighbor in Indiana, I can tell you, I'm very confident that this legislation will give Ohio both the resources and the flexibility that your governor, your legislature will need to be able to meet those needs going forward and literally offer our most vulnerable citizens even better covered.
We still don't know the cost of this. Why rush this through? Why not wait for the Congressional Budget Office to tell us how much it's going to cost?
Well, I think that we're moving in a very orderly and timely way. From the day after the election, President Trump directed leaders in the Congress to make repeal and replacement of Obamacare the #1 priority. We've been working very earnestly with the leadership in the House and Senate, as well as governors all across the country, to develop this plan. And the Congressional Budget Office numbers will be out a little bit later this week, maybe early next. And policymakers will have a different experience than we had 6 years ago when, frankly, the Democrats in the Congress in the last administration wrote Obamacare in a back room and literally brought it to the floor of Congress with very little debate, very few amendments.
Healthcare is vitally important. It will determine the outcome of the 2018-2020 elections. It should be our sole focus right now, but sadly it's not, because there are other things out there. The president has alleged that the former president committed a felony in wiretapping Trump Tower. Yes or no? Do you believe that President Obama did that?
Well, what I can say is that the president and our administration are very confident that the congressional committees in the House and Senate that are examining issues surrounding the last election, the run-up to the last election, will do that in a thorough and equitable way. They'll look at those issues. They'll look at other issues that have been raised.
The lack of an answer and the subsequent radio silence generating all kinds of immediate headlines with the words dodge, deflection, even a Matrix-like deflection being used. CNN's Jake Tapper.
I'm sure you noticed that the Vice President was asked yes or no, do you believe President Obama committed this action? One that both the FBI Director and former Director of National Intelligence have said did not happen, and the Vice President did not answer. And he did not say he believed it.
Getting back to the initial reason for the interview, though, the health care plan and the Medicaid rollback, when we had the discussion, it was based on the premise that the phase out would happen in 2020. But now there's discussion that it could happen as soon as 2018, making it an even harder sell in states that accepted the Medicaid expansion, like Ohio. Governor John Kosich writing in an op-ed in the New York Times Friday about the plan. He will still be governor in 2018, but the bulk of the impact will fall on his replacement. And this week, a former U.S. Congresswoman from Northeast Ohio says she wants to be that person. Former Northeast Ohio Congresswoman Betty Sutton making it official on her website that she is running for the Democratic nomination for governor. Sutton's decision coming a week after Congressman Tim Ryan announced he won't seek the seat.
She's well known, among other things, for the Cash for Clunkers program when she was in Congress, which helped to restart the auto industry in the United States. And so I think that's one of the things that she's going to use to talk about her support for teachers, for labor, for the interests of the common people.
State Senate Minority Leader Joe Schiavone from Boardman is the only other Democrat currently running. The Democratic wild card remains former Attorney General Richard Cordray, who was the powerful head of the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau in Washington until 2018.
He's wanting, I think, to stay to fight for the Bureau's survival, knowing that if he leaves, it makes it that much easier for President Trump and the Congress to close it down. But I think in some ways that pretty much precludes his possibility for running for governor.
Sutton was a rising star in Congress when her seat in redistricting was merged into the Republican district of Jim Renacci, who defeated her in 2012. Renacci, meanwhile, among the Republicans considering a run for the nomination, as is Attorney General Mike DeWine, Secretary of State John Husted, and Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor, who is the only announced Republican candidate so far.
All four strong candidates, and certainly I think the edge goes to DeWine, But Mary Taylor's coming up rapidly in fundraising, so is Houston. Renace's probably the longer shot because he's not known statewide, he's not run statewide.
And despite the fact that the primary is still more than a year away, expect more announcements to be coming shortly. St. Patrick's Day is going to be coming shortly at the end of the week, hence the green tie. And despite the Croatian last name, I am half Irish. Cleveland St. Patrick's Day Parade will kick off on Friday, 18th and Superior, precisely at 1:04 p.m. Don't overthink that. With Democracy 2017, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.